What's up? Hey, y'all. I'll wait for y'all to get in here. Hey. Welcome to Reading with Miss Taylor Said. Hello. Hello. The energy feels like very clear right now. We are in a different location. We're in my room. This is different. I like it though. It's very intimate. And let me change this because this is not my lighting. That's better. That's my lighting. I don't know what that other thing was. But yeah, my living room is not particularly available to me right now, which is totally fine. So I'm in my room and my bed is super comfortable, so might as well. Welcome to Reading with Miss Taylor Said. I'm waiting on folks to get in here, giving it some time. It's for everybody to get in here. That was my wrist popping like that. Welcome to Reading with Miss Taylor Said. I hope y'all are having a great day. I'm used to going here and here with I'm used to going like back and forth with my camera, but now I'm going down and up, and that's pretty fun. It's different. I like it though. Welcome in. Welcome to Reading with Miss Taylor Said. Hey friend. I hope y'all are having a great day. I am down to one ring light. My other ring light broke last week, like right as the show was starting. So I'm improvising right now as well. So I'm using one ring light now. We're in my room. It's a little different than normal. But I like it. Again, it's super comfortable. Like, shit, if we're reading a book and things get too upsetting, I got my comfort blanket right here, you know. My comfort blanket, let me show off my comfort blanket while I'm waiting for people to get in here. My comfort blanket is this Winnie the Pooh blanket. It's so nice. It's so nice. I love Winnie the Pooh. If you ever want to, like, not that I particularly like having trinkets or things around the house that don't really serve a purpose, but, you know, y'all ever want to get me a thing that is useful and it has Winnie the Pooh on it, your girl will take it. Thank you. I like the lighting too. I have my Christmas lights in here and everything. And it's real vibey, you know. I like it. I like it. All right. I'm gonna give it like one more minute, and then I'm surprised Sarante's not in here yet, but I'm sure he'll be here soon. But give it about one more minute, and then I'm going to go ahead and start the show. Let me do this real quick. All right. I got my incense burning over here this time. Normally it's like right over here, but it's over here this time. Got my water. Try to do this without making a whole lot of sound. Boom. All right. Giving it one more minute. Sarante, are you in the building? Is that you, Sarante? I see somebody on Facebook. Wherever you are, make sure you share this. Share this with somebody. If you're watching on Facebook, share it on your story. Or not your story, share it on your Facebook. You know, DM this to people on Instagram so they can watch. What's up? Welcome in. And we'll go ahead and get started. It's 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven. Say it twice. Say it twice. Welcome to Reading with Miss Taylor Said. My name is Taylor, also known as Miss Taylor Said, and I started this show in 2020 in an effort to accomplish a few goals that I have. One of those goals being that I want to get more comfortable with reading aloud in front of audiences. The things that I plan to do with my career will include me reading teleprompters, will include me reading teleprompters, will include me reading speeches and scripts and things like that in front of audiences. And so I need to be able to convey what I'm reading, you know, in a particular way. So I want to get a little practice with that, you know, and that's on Oprah. Another reason I started this show is because I want to get more practice with public speaking. I have been doing public speaking since I was in high school. It's something I really enjoy, and with the pandemic, I was able to get some engagement digitally, and it did provide me with opportunities to have speaking engagements, so I'm thankful for that, and I want to continue to do that kind of work. So that's another reason I started the show, and the final reason why I started the show is I have a crap ton of books. And I need to finish them. I need to read them. This is one book that I held on to for some time, and it took me, listen, it has taken us 2 years to read this book. I have ADHD. It's hard for me to sit down and read a book, y'all. I love reading so much, and I want the experience of reading, but my brain just be like, oh, you trying to do a thing that you enjoy? I'm gonna fall asleep instead. So this gives me space to be able to read it, because basically I'm body doubling with y'all. Anyway, and this is Reading with MissTaylorSaid. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, like, I'm doing the show, as y'all know, right now it's a little rough around the edges. I'm just trying to get back in the routine, get back in the habit, just show my face again to y'all. Period. Neural lives matter. So like, I'm trying to get back into it. It's really hard to do with my mental health and my neurodiversities and everything like that. But right now, the show is going to be a little rough around the edges, especially because I'm not home-based. The last time I did the show, when I was doing it 4 days a week, I was home-based. I was at home. I didn't have a job. Now I have a job. It takes a lot out of me. I ain't meant for this work shit, bro. And I'm collecting debt. And if you want to know what I mean by that, you know, hit me up or whatever. But I'm collecting debts at this point, and I have no intention on being in the workforce much longer. But welcome in. Also, you guys, guess what happened today? You'll never freaking believe it. I got a deposit in my bank account because of Instagram Reels. So, officially, I've made money from content. We in here. It's been a long road to make my little $48, and I made it. And that means I could do it again, and I could get more money. So, obviously, we got to move into a different direction that doesn't include me clocking into a regular job. But until we get to that point, thank you so much, friend. Until we get to that point, we're going to continue doing this. I'm going to continue just doing something, putting something out that's better than putting nothing out, because I don't need it to be perfect. I need it to be something. And honestly, the thing that I'm seeing a lot with people, audiences, something that I've noticed is that people are gaining more appreciation for, like, not just gaining more appreciation, but they are really valuing people who are authentic and people who are imperfect and people who are just raw. And I don't have this polished presentation, beautifully curated content that I put out. That's not what I do. That's not how I roll. I don't even want to roll like that. You know, I want my content to be me. Authentically me, no matter where I am, so that when you meet me in real life, you know the person that you're meeting is the exact person you saw when you were scrolling on the app, okay? And whenever I've seen a lot of influencers go from being like really authentic to being curated content, doing skits and just being dishonest because they need the clicks and they need the likes and they need the stuff. And so I think it's really important that even if it doesn't seem bright and shiny right now, that I stay authentic to who I am. So I appreciate y'all being here. I appreciate y'all embracing my imperfections and embracing me and listening and getting through this book with me. It has literally taken us years to read this, and we're in the final chapter. We are on chapter 10. We're on chapter 10 of how to identify emotionally mature people. So one way to identify emotionally mature people is that they are flexible and compromise well. So we are reading adult children of emotionally immature. Thank you. I love you too. Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents by Lindsay Gibson. And like I said, we've gotten to the end of the book. And I really wish that the last few episodes were available on Instagram, but they're on Facebook if you need to see the last few episodes of I think the end of chapter 8, chapter 9, and chapter 10. But all the other content is available on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. It's been a journey because reading this book has been so beneficial, but at the same time, when I stepped away from the book, the things I had learned, I had just kind of like taken that information and just started implementing it, even without knowing the other side of it, where they tell you, okay, this is how you implement this information, and this is how you make choices differently, and these are the things that you can do. I had already started practicing those things without knowing the exact techniques, and now it's just really great to be affirmed in what I've done, and then to also get even more clarity about how to proceed whenever I'm interacting with people. So I'm so thankful for this book. Emotionally immature people are flexible and they compromise well. Emotionally mature people are usually flexible and try to be fair and objective. An important trait to keep an eye on is how others respond if you have to change your plans. Can they distinguish between personal rejection and something unexpected coming up? Are they able to let you know they're disappointed without holding it against you? If you unavoidably have to let them down, emotionally mature people generally will give you the benefit of the doubt, especially if you're empathetic and suggest trade-offs or compromises to ease their disappointment. More emotionally mature people can accept that changes and disappointments are a part of life. They accept their feelings and look for alternative ways to find gratification when they're disappointed. They're collaborative and open to others' ideas. When you forge a compromise with an emotionally mature person, you won't feel like you're giving anything up. Instead, both of you will feel satisfied. I love that word. Because collaborative, mature people don't have an agenda to win at all costs. You won't feel like you're being taken advantage of. Compromise doesn't mean mutual sacrifice. It means a mutual balancing of desires. In a good compromise, both people feel they got enough of what they wanted. In contrast, emotionally immature people tend to pressure others into concessions that aren't in their best interest, often pushing a solution that doesn't feel fair. People who are in unhappy relationships often say things like, relationships are about compromise, right? Y'all heard it from the doctor. Y'all heard it from the doctor. What did the doctor say? I just hurt myself doing that. Either way, y'all heard it. People who are in unhappy relationships often say things like, relationships are about compromise, right? Compromising for what? Compromising for what reason? To compromise? For what? What is compromise? A relationship is a relationship that has to be earned, not compromised for. And that's on Eartha Kitt. The fuck? Sorry, let me continue reading. Because why am I compromising me for a relationship? I ain't compromising shit. Ooh. Excuse me. But I can tell by their facial expressions that they aren't talking about compromise. They're talking about feeling pressured into doing what the other person wants. Compromising is one person getting their way, TBH. For real. Real compromise feels different, as though your needs were taken into account, even if you didn't get everything you wanted. Believe it or not, compromise can be enjoyable, not painful. Ooh, I'm learning that. I am learning that right now. I am living that right now. And I'm so thankful. Believe it or not, compromise can be enjoyable, not painful, when you negotiate with emotionally mature people. They are so attentive and connected that it's a pleasure working things out with them. My God. They care about how you feel and don't want to leave you feeling unsatisfied because they have empathy. They won't feel settled if you're unhappy with the outcome. They want you to feel good too, with an exclamation point. Being treated with such consideration can make compromise a rewarding experience. Because when people are out here asking for compromise, they're asking you to give up your wants, your desires, your needs, your dreams. They're asking you for that so that they can feel comfortable doing what they want to do. Like, it's not, people are not asking for you to, like, for example, I have personal examples, okay? I'm not hiding this, but I ended a very lovely relationship, romantic relationship. It happened, it ended because there was no compromise on our difference. We had a different desire for how to live life. Children or no children. Those are very different things. And some people, if you tell them that story, they're like, there's got to be a way to compromise. Maybe one day they'll want kids. Maybe you won't. Like, maybe y'all, like, just because y'all love each other, so shouldn't y'all? No, baby. No, baby. And for my people that partake in the devil's lettuce, compromise is, I would rather use papers rather than wraps. That's compromise. Compromise is you're vegan and I'm not, but I'm going to have this vegan meal with you 2 times a week. And I'm not going to ask you to eat meat. That's compromise. People think that compromise is, well, if you want to be with me, you got to be a vegan too. That's not compromise. That's asking somebody to change who they are. Like, and some people are willing to do that for a relationship, for a romantic relationship or any kind of relationship, but that's not reasonable or sustainable because over time, if you make little changes like that, you chip off one thing and you chip off another thing, you say yes to changing fundamental changes to who you are and how you live. Because a lot of us, what really ends up happening, and I know they talked about this in the book, but a lot of us, and I'm going into romantic relationships, but this goes across the board. But a lot of us are so used to having to answer to someone because so many people were in their parents' house and then they were in a relationship and they were on and off in relationships. And so they spent more time answering to people, quote unquote, or answering to friends, answering to romantic relationships, answering to parents, answering to siblings, answering to other people, and having to make decisions based on what other people want or need, that they haven't actually had time in their lives where they could just be like, I am only answering to myself. What do I like and what do I want? How do you live when it's just you? Do you know? When it's just you worried about, and it's just you that you care about, and it's just you that you're considering when you're making decisions, do you know how you live like that? If you haven't gotten an opportunity, if life has dealt you a card, if life has dealt you a hand where it's unlikely you'll get an opportunity for a while, I understand. But even just imagine what your day-to-day life would look like if you didn't have to answer to people. If you just had yourself. Then add other people into the picture. If what you're doing is not harming anyone or yourself, why would you give that up just to have access or have somebody in your life? Because asking someone that smokes cigarettes to stop smoking cigarettes, that's a big ask because you're dealing with addiction. But at the same time, it's like, it's an ask because ultimately it is hurting that person. It's something that can be asked, and it should be honored if it's a resounding hell no. And then you move accordingly. Because the thing is, like, you don't have to have people in your life that don't operate in the way that's compatible with how you operate in life. You literally can just say no. And it's no hard feelings. It's no love lost. I can love you from afar, but you don't have to participate in my life in a way that affects it on a regular basis or in any capacity, in a way that majorly affects it. You don't have to participate if the way we operate and our values and our and you know, those things are not compatible. You literally don't have to participate. And I think that emotionally mature people have the discernment to really identify who is compatible for the life that they live. I'm going to move on to the next section. If you're just now joining us, we're reading Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. I kind of went off on a tangent. And we're currently in chapter 10, the end of the book, talking about how to identify emotionally mature people. Emotionally mature people are even-tempered. They're even-tempered. The sooner temper shows up in a relationship, the worse the implications. Most people are on their best behavior early in the relationship, so be wary of people who display irritability early on. It can indicate both brittleness and a sense of entitlement, not to mention disrespect. People who have a short fuse and expect that life should go according to their wishes don't make for good company. If you find yourself reflexively stepping in to soothe someone's anger, watch out. I needed to know that 10 years ago. Almost exactly. There are enormous variations in how people experience and express their anger. More mature people find a sustained state of anger unpleasant, so they quickly try to find... More mature people find a sustained state of anger unpleasant, so they quickly try to find a way to get past it. Less mature people, on the other hand, may feed their anger and act as though reality should adapt to them. With the latter, be aware that their sense of entitlement may one day place you in the crosshairs of their anger. Because it's not about how they're treating you. It's not about how the person is treating you, especially if you are a benefit to them. If having access to you benefits their life, how they treat you is not a reflection of how they are and who they are. How are they treating the server? What are they saying about people when y'all are in the store? Are they talking badly about people's appearance when they're in the store with you? Are they constantly like raging out on the road and then holding on to that anger? I remember there was one dude that I wanted to hang out with. I used to work with him, and I wanted to hang out with him, and he had a bad day at work. And he had and the plan was for me and my best friend to go and like hang out at his house and cook with him and, you know, hang out and chill or whatever. And we all got off work, and me and her, we're like, let's go. We about to go chill, you know? And he was like, my day at work ruined my day. So you can't enjoy hanging out with people who like hanging out with you because your work day ruined your day? Like that, like stupid. It was stupid. And it was like his anger from the work day carried over, and he allowed the anger he felt during the work day to literally end his entire night of enjoyment. And it was stupid. And it's like, and not even on a superficial level, on a like I understand if you are emotionally exhausted, drained, you need rest. But because you're still mad and you want to bitch about what happened during the workday, and it's got you, and that customer made you so mad that Bro. Couldn't be me. Wouldn't be me. Anyway, people who show anger by withdrawing love are particularly I'm faced with a word that I am not sure what the pronunciation is. I'm going to say pernicious, are particularly pernicious. The outcome of such behavior is that nothing gets solved and the other person just feels punished. In contrast, emotionally mature people will usually tell you what's wrong and ask you to do things differently. They don't sulk or pout for long periods of time or make you walk on eggshells. Ultimately, they're willing to take the initiative to bring conflict to a close rather than giving you the silent treatment. Because they don't want to live in that. We don't want to live in that. I don't want to spend my time being upset with you and then trying to figure out ways to get back at you. For what? I have literally better things to do with my day than sit around being mad at somebody. Welcome in. We're reading Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. That said, people typically need some time to calm down before they can talk about what made them angry, regardless of their emotional maturity level. Forcing an issue when both parties are still angry is not a good idea. Taking a time out often works better, helping people avoid saying things in the heat of an argument that they might later regret. In addition, people sometimes need space to deal with their feelings on their own first. I'm very much like that. It takes me time. I deal with auditory processing. I deal with an auditory processing disorder. I'm not sure how severe it is, but like sometimes when I receive information that I'm not expecting, like I can almost predict information that I'm going to receive, and I nearly control how I receive information. So when I receive a lot of information, I receive a new story, I receive a new perspective, I receive someone's emotional like reaction to something I said or did. It takes me some time, between hours or a day, to really process what I heard, because I'm taking the information in, but it's not in the words have not settled in my brain yet. So I need time to just process. And sometimes when I'm angry, I find myself being like, I am really angry right now, and I need a moment because I'm very triggered by this conversation. Because really, honestly, anger is just that you're fight or flight, you're having a trauma response. There's something that happened. There may have been something that happened, or what's happening right now resembles something that hurt you in the past. More than likely, not every time, but more than likely, it could be new. It could be a new anger. It could be a new betrayal or whatever. But like for the most part, it triggers a response of something that happened in the past that either happened to you or happened to someone else, and you were fearful of that happening. And then dun 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 dun, it happened. Dun 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 dun, they said it. So now you have to welcome in. We're reading Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. So now you have to sit there and process, okay, why did this upset me? Because I had to do that with certain situations this past year where, excuse me, where I was like, okay, this upset me. This triggered my jealousy. This triggered this feeling that normally when I feel jealousy, it feels like this in my body. So that's what I'm feeling right now. Why am I feeling that? And then just start peeling back the layers of why you feel like that before you start talking to people about how you feeling. Do it. Try that one time. Just sit there and be like, just keep asking yourself why. Just like, I'm upset. Why? I'm upset because they did this. Oh, why did that upset you? Well, it upset me because they knew not to do this, blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is, go and keep asking yourself why. Fuck the conversation with them right now. Ask yourself why this is upsetting you. And this is not to absolve the person of what they've done or how they could have adjusted their behavior or how their behavior could have been better. No, it doesn't absolve them of that. What it does, welcome in. We're reading Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. What it does is that it allows you to be able to come to the conversation with a clear pathway to how you got to your feelings and how you got to your reaction. Because me saying, I didn't like the fact that you was talking to her, that does nothing for anybody. That does nothing for anybody. Me saying, it didn't make me feel good when I saw you talking to that person. Bruh, the self-reflection of the last year. It didn't make me feel good when I saw you talking to that person because I know this about this person and I feel unsafe around them. Or I had this experience in my past, and when I had that experience that ultimately ended up hurting me, like, it looks like what you did, and you probably didn't even do anything wrong. I would really appreciate if you gave me more clarity about what happened so I can have a better understanding. And with that understanding, with more information, I can have a better understanding of how I need to manage my emotions. Because me flying off the handle ain't helping nobody. Me coming at somebody like, you do da-da-da-da, that's not helping anybody. It's not helping anybody. And again, this is not to absolve nobody, because sometimes you need to get in a motherfucker's ass. Sometimes you need to let somebody know, hey, you got too much dip on your chip. Your dip to chip ratio is a little off, and your chip about to break. So you need to reel it back in. Sometimes you need to do that with people, but you are only responsible for how you behave and how you speak and how you feel. That's the only thing you're responsible for. You cannot control anybody else's behavior. You can inform someone where a boundary has been crossed or where your feelings have been hurt. You can inform someone about like how their behavior affects you, but you can't control somebody else's behavior. The only thing you can do is let someone know how their behavior affects you and let them know, hey, when I'm triggered in this particular way, these are the boundaries I create. If that continues to happen, these are the boundaries I create. And these are the boundaries I plan to stick to. And that's it, and that's all. And then if it happens again, boom, set a boundary and you're done. And I know that sounds easier, but that requires work on your end. It requires you to be self-reflective. It requires you to really understand why you mad, or understand why you're sad, or understand why you are reacting to another person's behavior in the way that you are. Ooh, I'm in here. Ooh, I'm preaching tonight. Listen, the Cash App is Cash App is $ MissTaylorSaid. Somebody put it up there so I can pin it. Listen, pass around the offering plate. Anyway. Okay, we're going to continue. Another thing, yep. So we're done with that section. So the next way to identify emotionally mature people, they are willing to be influenced. Emotionally mature people have a secure sense of self. They don't feel threatened when other people see things differently, nor are they afraid of seeming weak if they don't know something. I love that. So when you have an insight to share with them, they listen and consider what you tell them. They may not agree, but thanks to their natural curiosity, they'll try to understand your point of view. John Gottman, well known for his research into relationships and marital stability, describes this trait as a willingness to be influenced by others and counts it among his 7 principles for a sustainable, happy relationship. Men are especially prone to rejecting a partner's input since they're socialized to be self-assured and to resist undue influence. Excuse me, y'all. My arch in my foot is cramping up for some reason, and I don't know why, so I'm just going to stretch that a little bit. Okay. Men are especially prone to rejecting a partner's input since they're socialized to be self-assured and to resist undue influence. When this cultural training goes too far, it can get in the way of harmonious reciprocity in intimate relationships. However, there's no gender corner on this market. Plenty of women also refuse to be influenced by anybody and can be just as rigid as any man. Whatever the gender, unwillingness to consider someone else's point of view indicates emotional immaturity and a rocky road ahead. And the thing I think about the most is Christians and insert any belief here. and the inability to shake that belief or hear anything else, because it's just like, but the Bible says, and it's just like, humans be humaning, and there should be updates to the information that we are taking in. You've got to be willing to hear a different perspective of the world. It's about knowing all the perspectives and being able to fully understand the world from a bigger, like, man, because like that song in The Prince of Egypt, I wish I had the direct quote, but he was talking about, like, if you're looking at a thread, just a thread, and your whole worldview is a thread in a tapestry, you can't see the bigger picture. You can't see the full tapestry. We have got to open ourselves up to more perspectives, because this world is too vast. And Americans are particularly socialized to be rigid in their thinking. Americans are particularly socialized to be closed-minded and to not care about anything outside of their bubble. Americans are socialized to, we're indoctrinated to do that. And so many people, I hear so many like elders and stuff that, thank you. I hear so many elders that are just like even one of my parents is just like, I would never want to live anywhere else in the world because America is the best place. Because even, even in all those other places, it could be good some places, but okay, respectfully, no shade, no tea, but if you don't have a passport, I really don't want to hear about your opinion on how the rest of the world works. That's first of all. Second of all, speaking to other people who have lived in other countries, they are not individualistic like we are here. It is not every man for themselves in other places. In other places there are, and our country has a very specific goal to show us places where it's worse, quote unquote, because you have to, if you're an abuser, you can't show somebody the better life and expect them to stay with you. You can't show them, look at how these people live wonderfully and free and healthcare and all the and income that's given by the government. And you can't sit there and put those things in front of people and expect them to be like, and you know what? I see that better life over there. I see the grass is greener. Truly. I went over there, touched it, saw it. It's got deep roots. But I'm going to stay over here with these shallow roots and this turf. That's just not real grass. I'm going to stay over here in my raggedy grass that got brown patches and all that stuff because America's better. Anyway, people, stubbornness, that's what it is for me. Anyway, the next way you can identify an emotionally mature person is that they're truthful. Come on. Telling the truth is the basis of trust and a sign of a person's level of integrity. If you know me, you know that's my favorite word. Integrity is my favorite word. In addition, it shows respect for the other person's experience. Emotionally mature people understand why you're upset if they lie or give you a false impression. Telling the absolute truth can be hard for all of us at times, for many reasons. For example, when we have to interact with an angry or critical person, we may be inclined to lie for self-protection. But you can count on an emotionally mature person to be genuine and forthcoming when honesty really counts. And I don't even have nothing to add to that. Tell the truth. I'm thinking about that section from Aladdin. The next way you can identify an emotionally mature person is that they apologize and make amends. Emotionally mature people want to be responsible for their own behavior and are willing to apologize when needed. This kind of basic respect and reciprocity mends injured trust and hurt feelings and helps maintain good relationships. Although emotionally immature people may also offer apologies, these are often nothing more than lip service, designed to placate others without a real intent to change. Such apologies have no heart in them and typically feel more like an evasion than relationship repair. People who are sincere, on the other hand, won't just apologize. They'll also make a clear statement about how they intend to do things differently. When you thank you for the emotionally mature people in my life. Thank you for When you tell people that they've hurt or disappointed you, observe their response. Do they just defend themselves, or do they try to change? Do they apologize just to appease you, or do they understand and care about what you felt? An apology tells me everything I need to know. The way somebody apologizes tells me everything I need to know about them as a person. Because one thing I will say is that I am not the type of person that lets you know I'm upset by, when I'm talking about people that interact with me specifically, I'm not the type of person that lets you know I'm upset in some foul ass way. I say it in a way that is gentle. I say it in a way that's clear. And so the response or the apology afterward, if I'm sorry if you felt, okay, well, you can be sorry if I felt over there then. If you're just now joining us, we're reading Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents by Lindsay Gibson. The apology got to come with changed behavior. Otherwise, it's just lip service, period. Crystal's story. Crystal is the person whose story we're about to hear. Crystal found email evidence that her husband, Marcos, was having an affair. Marcos begged for forgiveness, but the fallout from her discovery almost ended their marriage. After a temporary separation, Crystal decided that she was willing to work on the relationship, but one of her conditions was that they keep talking about what had happened. She needed to understand. She needed more details. Marcos couldn't fathom this and told her, I said I'm sorry. What more do you want? Why do you keep bringing this up? What do you want me to do? The answer is simple. Crystal wanted Marcos to self-reflect, explain why he'd had the affair, and know how betrayed she felt. She also needed Marcos to hear her out instead of shutting her down. People who have been betrayed are often consumed with getting all the facts. It may be morbid curiosity, but getting their questions answered can help them process their pain. It wasn't enough just to apologize. Marcos needed to be available to answer Crystal's questions as she struggled to understand what happened. And I hope that she left him. Another way to identify emotionally mature people is that they're responsive. So we have big sections and then subsections. So I was just reading the subsections of they're respectful and reciprocal. So how to identify the big sections are: they're realistic and reliable, they're respectful and reciprocal, and now we're going into they're responsive. Okay? Once all the traits outlined above are in place, you'll also want to seek out people with qualities that give relationships a sense of warmth and fun. Think of the following traits as essential to a fully rewarding relationship experience, just as paint and furnishings are essential to make a house a home. 1. Their empathy makes you feel safe. Empathy is what makes people feel safe in relationships. Along with self-awareness, is the soul of emotional intelligence, guiding people towards pro-social behavior and fairness in dealings with others. In contrast, non-empathetic people overlook, me too. In contrast, non-empathetic people overlook your feelings and don't seem to imagine your experience or be sensitive to it. It's important to be aware of this because a person who isn't responsive to your feelings won't be emotionally safe when you two have any kind of disagreement. Ellen's story. Ellen's boyfriend was largely incapable of empathy. If she tried to tell him about her day, he'd listen just long enough to use her story as a springboard to start talking about what happened to him. Eventually, Ellen worked up the nerve to ask him if he could listen and show more empathy, but he thought she was saying he was a bad person. He shot back that she wasn't perfect either. He couldn't respond to her emotional need because he could only hear her request as a criticism against which he had to defend himself. Sound like my mama. People that consider your experience are people that you keep around. People who think about what will they feel like? How does my action, does my choice correlate with the type of choices they would make in their regular life? Or am I just doing some shit because I like it and it feels good for me? The next one is they make you feel seen and understood. What a gift it is to talk with someone who's interested in your inner experience. It is. Instead of feeling strange for having certain feelings, you feel understood because the other person resonates with what you're talking about on an emotional level. When emotionally mature people find you interesting, they show curiosity about you. They enjoy hearing your history and getting to know you. They also remember things you've told them and are likely to reference that information in future conversations. They like your individuality and are intrigued by the ways in which you're different from them. This reflects their desire to really get to know you rather than looking for you to mirror them. Emotionally mature people see you positively and keep a mental library of your best qualities. They often I'm smiling really hard right now because, like, I truly am so blessed. Because everything I'm describing, like, I literally can just tack on, pick a best friend of mine, and I can tack on their name and be like, when, insert name, like, when they find you interesting, they show curiosity about you. And then I can just insert their name into all these spaces where it's like, when this type of person, when my friend does this, when my friend does that, when my friend does this, when I do this for them. Like, I love y'all, for real. Y'all are the best. Ooh. I just had a feeling go through my chest, my heart chakra. They enjoy hearing your history and getting to know you. They also remember things you've told them and are likely to reference that information in future conversations. They like your individuality and are intrigued by the ways in which you're different from them. This reflects their desire to really get to know you rather than looking for you to mirror them. Emotionally mature... Oh, I've already read that. I'll keep reading it. Emotionally mature people see you positively and keep a mental library of your best qualities. They often reference your strengths and sometimes seem to know you better than you know yourself. In the climate of such interest and acceptance, you'll feel that you can be completely yourself and may find yourself telling the other person things you hadn't planned to, or sharing a personal experience that you usually keep to yourself. Ooh. I hope the chapter's almost over, because I'm almost over. We're almost done. I might save the rest of this for Thursday. I probably will. This will be the last section I read, and then I'll save the rest of it for Thursday, and we will be done with this book this week. Finally. You'll also notice that the more you share with such people, the more they share with you. That's how true intimacy develops and flourishes. Once they trust you, they'll engage in clear, intimate communication and let you into their inner world. If you've been emotionally neglected in the past, this may be a new and exhilarating experience for you. You'll also discover that when you feel distressed, emotionally mature people don't pull back. They aren't afraid of your emotions and don't tell you that you should be feeling some other way. They embrace your feelings and like learning about the things you want to tell them. And you will want to tell them things. It's wonderful and validating to find someone who really listens. Oh, well, that's 2 yawns, so I need to get up out of here. I want to keep reading because I'm really enjoying this, and it's just warming up my heart because, like I said, this is I'm reading my life. So I'm thankful. But we're almost done with the book, y'all. Like, look where the bookmark is. We're almost done. Thank you for watching Reading what Miss Taylor said today. I'm so excited to join you guys again on Thursday to finish the book. I hope that something resonated with you. You got something from this, and that you are able to identify emotionally mature people when they come your way, and that you're also able to set boundaries and remove emotionally immature people from your life in a way where they have an effect on how your day-to-day life goes. Because you deserve to be in peace, and you deserve to have peaceful experiences with people. And because life is not peaceful all the time. Life is hard. Having to deal with the world outside of your home and outside of your intimate spaces is really challenging. And it is a disservice to yourself to allow people who are emotionally immature to occupy your intimate spaces and your personal spaces. It's a disservice to yourself. Protect your intimate spaces, protect your home, protect yourself with a fortress of emotional maturity. Because the world out there sucks. Sometimes. A lot of times. It's on fire. Like, it does. This is the part you can control. This is the part you have power over. Your self-reflection, your emotional maturity, and then only allowing people who are emotionally mature to be in your life in a major way. That's what you can control. That's the thing that you can change. You just have the courage. You just have to have the courage to change it. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I hope y'all have a great night. And I will see y'all on Thursday. Bye.